starts with Samantha Koenig. She was determined to get a job at 18 years old. Her father, James, that was my dad's name too, my sister's name is Samantha, said that he did not want her to work at this coffee kiosk in the first place. He wanted her to explore her other options, such as nursing or veterinary school, as they had previously talked about. But she chose the coffee kiosk, and workers described her as bubbly and energetic. She had been working at the Common Grounds espresso stand for a month, and she was really enjoying it. Her dad described her as a sweetheart. He said that she had the biggest heart and a genuine love and care for people. She would easily befriend people, and everyone that met her just loved her. She was funny and loved life. Samantha is the fourth of 6 children. She had 3 sisters and 2 brothers. This story really starts on February 1st, 2012, around 8 p.m. Samantha was wrapping up her shift at the Common Grounds coffee stand on Tudor Road in Midtown Anchorage, Alaska. I cannot imagine living in Alaska. It is so cold here in Illinois right now. We went straight from summer right to turn your heat on, it's cold. Anyway, so this small shack was in 2012 was brightly painted turquoise. It sits in the parking lot of one of several branches of an Alaskan health club. That night, Samantha was wearing a lime green t-shirt, which her friends and family said was her favorite color. They would later wear shirts of this color to court appearances to show solidarity and remembrance, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, a man approaches the coffee stand from the west side at right near 8 p.m. He walked up to the window of the shop and asked Samantha to make him an Americano. He actually provided her with his own cup, which, when I first saw this, thought that was kind of weird. And now I'm like, oh, well, I'm sure people have their Tervises or whatever, that the Yetis, they want to keep their stuff warm in, but he didn't really go there for coffee. So Samantha made the coffee and handed it to him. At this point, he pulls out a gun and demands money. This is all on video. Samantha complied and gave him the money. But this guy forces himself inside the coffee stand by climbing through the window. He then asked her to turn off the lights so that people would think that the kiosk was closed. And she did. The questionable thing in all of this is when she flipped this switch, she did not push the silent alarm, which was right by the switch. And people find that very strange. But if he was watching her closely, he would have seen her do that, and maybe she just thought he just wanted money, and so that she thought she was okay. Anyway, he then made her lay down on the floor, and he zip-tied her hands together. He asked her where her car was, and she told him that she didn't have one. So he walked her out of the coffee stand and towards his truck. She escaped and tried to run away. He, of course, chased her and tackled her to the ground. sketchy. So, while he's driving around with her, telling her about how he's going to get ransom from her family, her boyfriend came to pick her up. Of course, he found the coffee stand empty. Her cell phone, which was left at the coffee kiosk, lights up on the security video as he tries to call her, and other people try to call her. At some point on this drive, this man realizes that she doesn't have her cell phone, so he goes back to get it because he needs it to demand ransom from her family. He drives back, re-enters the coffee stand, leaving Samantha in his truck in a nearby neighborhood. I don't know how. I mean, her hands were bound, but man, I would have pushed that unlock button with my nose. I don't know. I would have tried. Maybe she did. I don't know. He retrieves the cell phone and stops to pick up the scraps of zip tie that he used to tie her up, goes back to the truck, and drives away. 4 minutes later, her boyfriend returns to the coffee stand looking for her. He parks his truck, gets out, peers in the windows. If he had only shown up a few minutes earlier, he would have seen her cell phone on the counter inside and maybe even ran into this guy. So, again, back to the gentleman in the truck with Samantha. He drives around town to another part, and he sends 2 messages from Samantha's phone. The first one to the boyfriend, and the second one to the owner of the coffee shop. It made it appear like she was just having a bad day, and that she was going to leave town for the weekend. He then, very smartly, took the battery out of her cell phone. He demanded Samantha's debit card, and she told him that she shared a bank account with her boyfriend, and that the ATM card was in the truck that they shared. So then he wanted to know where the house was, and the PIN number to the ATM card. He drove Samantha to his house and put her in a shed. He tied her up and turned the radio up very loudly so that no one would hear her if she yelled. And by no one, I mean his girlfriend and daughter, who lived in the house very nearby. He also told her that he had a police scanner and he would know if she attempted to alert his neighbors. He then drove to Samantha's house, retrieved the ATM card from the truck, and in fact, while he was there, was confronted by her boyfriend, who yelled at him and then ran back in the house to get help. Of course, scary guy ran back to his truck and left the area before he could be found. He drove to an ATM machine to test the PIN number and then returned to the shed. He sexually assaulted Samantha and asphyxiated her. He then left her in the shed and went back into his house to his normal life, where he packed for a cruise that he was taking to New Orleans. He left early the next morning for the cruise. He returned to Anchorage on February 17th, and then began preparing a ransom note that demanded the money be placed in the account that was connected to the ATM. I always have to sneeze when I'm filming. He went into the shed, retrieved Samantha's body, spending several hours preparing her for pictures. I'm not gonna talk to you about the details, but this picture made me want to throw up. He spent several hours preparing her. I will just leave you at that. Her eyes are open in this picture. You can come to your own conclusion. Yeah. and the note was recovered by the police department. In the days that followed, this guy disposed of Samantha's body in a lake, Manatuska Lake. He had to cut a hole in the ice with a chainsaw to put her there, and it absolutely horrified me. I read one of the accounts of the policeman diver that recovered her body, and I was just like, oh my god, bless these people that do this for a living, but oh no. Police, after viewing the security video from the coffee stand and another one from across the street at Home Depot, started canvassing the city for a white 3/4 ton Chevy pickup with black wheel wells. They determined that there were 750 of these in the Anchorage Bowl alone, and officers from just about every single department and law enforcement agency started looking at all of them. They visited this man, and I've been careful not to use his name, but they visited his home twice and even looked at his truck. He was out of town both times, but they checked the truck off the list due to the heavy ladder rack and toolboxes that were mounted on the bed of the truck. The truck in the surveillance had no such rack, and they said that he likely removed it himself prior to the abduction, which he later admitted. The truck did not register with investigators because this rack appeared to be permanently attached to the truck and welded in at the corners. They checked it twice, only because it had somehow come up twice on the report that was printed. Oh goodness, my laptop's already yelling at me. Stop it. Get off there. Okay. Samantha's father, James, deposited reward money, and this had been generously donated by members of the community into the account that was connected with Samantha's ATM card. The plan was to attempt to catch this perpetrator by tracking the withdrawals. He did use the card and made his first withdrawal on February 28th, about a month after Samantha was initially abducted. He made another just a half an hour later on February 28th. to Samantha's murder on March 30th and into April 1st. He gave them the general location of her body, and then he narrowed it down a little bit more. He was playing with police. He would feed them bits here and bits there. And her remains were recovered by a dive team on April 2nd, and it was positively identified as Samantha a few days later. Let's see where we are here. Alright. Israel Keys is the most terrifying name that you've probably never heard of. Officials believe that he hunted and killed people all across the United States from as early as 1997 until 2012. He was born in Cove, Utah, to a large Mormon family. He was the second oldest of 10 children. When he was 3 or 4, the family settled in the woods outside Colville, Washington. His parents by then had become fundamentalist Christians, moving from churches that Israel described as Amish to more militant sort of church when he was a teenager. They lived in tough times. Sometimes they did not have electricity. The children were homeschooled, and for years some of the children slept in a tent. The children earned money through under-the-table schemes and jobs such as cutting firewood or working on other people's farms. Israel said that he spent a lot of time in the woods, and sometimes if he wanted to eat, he had to hunt anything with a heartbeat. He became obsessed with guns from childhood onward, and as an adolescent, he shot houses with BB guns, broke into homes for money, started fires in the woods, and slipped into the cabins of his neighbors to steal guns, which he kept in a secret cache inside his family's home. When his parents found them, they made him apologize and return the guns, at least according to his confession. Israel said that he mostly kept to himself. He stated that there were two sides to him, but people only ever saw one. He had a need for control. In his teenage years, he renounced the Christian faith, which led to a chasm between him and his father. In 97 or 98, the family moved to a town in Central Oregon, and he and his brothers helped their dad build a house. He said that by his late teenage years, he decided that he could rape or kill someone and get away with it. He was also interested in Satanism and began to plan satanic rituals that involved killing young women. He just scares me. We'll get there. The area where Israel was working was a popular place for inner tubers to float down the river. He told investigators that one day he stood on the beach along the river, waded out, and grabbed a woman who was the last one in her group of tubers, a teenage girl with sandy blonde hair. He drug her to a remote campground bathroom, tied her up, and assaulted her. He planned to strangle her and dump her there, where he thought it would not be discovered for a long time, and in fact brought knives with him to use in this ritual. But she was really scared and kept saying that she wasn't going to tell anybody. But she kept talking, and he said she was smart. It worked. Things never really got violent like they could have if she fought him. So he let her go. He was too timid, he said. I wasn't violent enough, and so I made up my mind that that was never going to happen again. He was never charged with this crime, and it's unclear if this victim was even located. killer that confounded the Bureau's top criminal profilers, and he had an unprecedented MO that included assaulting and hurting people all over the United States. He had zero victim profile. He devised a mode of travel that rendered him undetectable. He traveled frequently and in no discernible pattern. He often bought one-way plane tickets that left him in major cities. He would rent a car and drive hundreds of miles to retrieve one of what he called his kill kits. This was 5-gallon buckets from Home Depot that he stashed with cash and weapons and cleaning supplies that he buried all over the continental United States. And I'm talking like well in advance, like years in advance, guys. He had no victim type. He killed both men and women, big, little, small. He did, after he had his daughter, claim that children and parents were off limits. And he targeted people. He drove thousands of miles or traveled thousands of miles to stalk his victims. He learned their habits before killing them. He funded these expeditions by robbing banks. He stashed these murder kits that contained weapons and supplies everywhere. But as far as I could tell, they've only found a couple of them. He would later tell investigators that his preferred murder method was strangulation, so that he could watch people suffer. Among the crimes that they believe he may have be connected to is the disappearance of 49-year-old Deborah Feldman. She was last seen at her home in New Jersey, April 8th of 2009. He told investigators that he abducted a woman on the East Coast in April and transported her to upstate New York, where he murdered and disposed of her. He was shown a picture of Deborah and told investigators that he was not ready to talk about her. There was also substantial internet chatter about the possibility of him being involved in the disappearance of Maura Murray. He was in the area at the time, but police have denied this connection. He wanted the death penalty and told investigators that he had no long-term interest of survival in prison. They told him if he wanted the death penalty, he needed more victims. He paused and said, "Okay, I'll give you 2 names and a body." In early June of 2011, he flew from Alaska to Chicago, rented a car, drove to Vermont to look for victims. He'd previously buried a kill kit nearby in 2009, and he was looking for a house with a garage, no cars in the driveway, no children, and no dogs. Finally, after several days, he set his sights on Bill Courier and his wife, Lorraine. He chose them for no reason beyond the design of their house. He cut their phone lines before bursting into the bedroom where they were asleep. He let them put on slippers rather than walking across the broken glass from the window. How he got in the house? Why? He took them to an abandoned farmhouse. He tied up Lorraine, disposed of disposed of Bill. I don't know where I got Kevin. Disposed of Bill in the basement. Lorraine was feisty, he said, and she tried to fight him. He then covered them up with debris in the farmhouse and left. He did stop to smoke a cigar in the middle of hurting them. He went fishing while he was in Vermont and made sure that he got a legal fishing license. He said that he doesn't feel bad about the things that he's done. He did them for himself, and he didn't want to tell investigators because it was better for him to keep them to himself. He did, during the interrogation, become more at ease in discussing his fantasies and how he planned to do things. He talked about the public Israel Keys, who lived with his nurse practitioner tried to avoid situations that might end with him hurting a child. His retirement plan was to build a dungeon in his home, and he told investigators about a cache of potential body disposal tools that he had secreted along the bank of the Eagle River. They found this based on his directions. He said that he only left that stuff there because he was planning on using it eventually, that he doesn't like to litter. His biggest concerns about all of his crimes would be that his daughter would grow up and have all of this hanging over her head, that he didn't want her to type his name into a computer and have it pop up. He gave over 40 hours worth of interviews to investigators, but never divulged the names of any other victims or the dates of their murders. He studied fellow serial killers like Ted Bundy, whom he admired. He called the BTK killer, Dennis Rader, a wimp for professing his remorse after he got caught. I've done videos on both those people if you don't know anything about them. When he was asked why he committed these crimes, he said, "Why not?" He enjoyed it. He liked what he was doing. His whole issue was to keep control. And on the night of December 1st, 2012, he took more control. He committed suicide with a razor and then hung himself. 4 pages of handwritten notes were found underneath Israel Key's body. They contained chillingly poetic descriptions of death and rape and murder. He wrote, "You may have been free, you love living your life, fate had its own scheme, and crushed like a bug, you still die." They believe that the number that Israel Keys killed was far